Let me start with a basic question. Let me start with a basic question. I've been on this subcommittee for a long time. And that is, how much revenue that is owed to the federal government under the laws that we have passed, not being paid because of a lack of enforcement, which is both a direct loss and an indirect loss. A direct loss by the money we don't, and an indirect cost by people who believe that they're not going to be checked anyway, so they will either go very close to the line or over the line.
Congressman, we refer to that as the tax gap. It's the difference between the balance owed versus the balance paid, and we estimate it to be $687 billion a year.
$687 billion.
Yes.
Per year.
Per year.
Does the current request of the administration anticipate, with the enforcement money that you have from IRA and that are requested, will that make a significant dent in that gap?
We believe it will. We had at the point of the Inflation Reduction Act, right, the day before it was enacted, the most anemic audit rates that we've had, essentially in IRS history. Now, what we're doing with these funds is increasing our ability to enforce, in particular, on high wealth and complex filers. One reflection that I've shared before is on the day the Inflation Reduction Act was passed, we had one auditor for every 150 of the top tier most wealthy taxpayers in the country. I'm not talking about just like 10 million or more in income or assets. I'm talking about 250 million, the topmost tier. So one auditor for each 250. Many of these tax returns are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of pages long. So I told people to picture that one auditor like backing in trucks and trucks full of tax returns, and it's them against that, all of that. And what we need to do is not only hire more people, but provide them technology, data analytics, and subject matter expertise to unpack all that complexity. We are leaving a lot of money on the table.
The statistic I have, and I showed last year, was that from 2010 to 2019, those fiscal years, IRS audits of millionaires plummeted from approximately 9% plus to less than 0.5%. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Again, I'll make it clear, nobody wants people to pay more taxes than they owe. And we set
neither does
what
the
they
IRS.
owe. But to the extent that they do not pay, somebody has to take up the slack, or we create a debt. And there's great concern about that debt. But when you tell me that there's $687 billion per year estimated to be uncollected that's owed, that is a significant problem. Here's a particular peeve I have I want you to answer very quickly. I hear a lot of advertisements about, on the radio, some on TV, but mostly radio. If you come to us, you haven't paid your taxes, guess what? We'll save you $1,000, $10,000, 50% of what you owe, et cetera, et cetera. That seems to me a great disincentive for people to pay their taxes. Are you concerned about those advertisements?
I am concerned about those advertisements. Many of them are exploiting the complexity of the tax system and stress over taxes to victimize these individuals. And here's why. We have a variety of tools that are very accessible for you to either create an installment agreement or do an offer in compromise. We've designed them so that you shouldn't need help. They're very fluid to be able to get. And then you don't have to pay or give any financial risk to anyone who's claiming that they can get the IRS debt to go away. The reality is that we have programs in place. They're very accessible. We're working on making them more accessible. And those that believe they have to work with someone in order to take advantage of these programs, are giving something away. That's why these businesses have the money to afford to advertise and to exist. And what we've learned over and over again from testimonials and from talking to taxpayers is at the end of this process, they are left with a mess on their hands. So we urge people to get educated. You're going to work with someone reputable, but really come to the IRS, search free help at irs.gov. There's a lot there that's navigable, and you might not need the help that the marketers are saying you need.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Hoyer. Now